Hey everybody, welcome to the Mom Pod. I'm Brooke, your host, and Sam is out for a little bit. She's going back to work for school. She just moved. She's on vacation. So I've got a special guest with me today. Is my mom. Say hi.
What? What up, mamas?
And I'm so excited because we get to talk about so many different things. We talk about all the things that we've gone through as like new moms, but now we kind of get to talk about things you go through as a grandma, as a mom with a kid in her 30s, and
Hmm.
all the stuff that's changed. I mean, we've talked
Right.
about it a little bit here and there. You've always mentioned like things were so different,
Oh yeah,
back then in the 90s,
way
but
different, way different. Even before then, and even after, everything like changes. Like seems like every 5 to 10 years, it's something different.
yeah, even sometimes quicker than that. I feel like I know
Yeah,
people that had kids, a year or two ago, and things are so different now just from, I guess I don't know if it's like trend. It's a little bit of trends, but also just so many new things that doctors are learning and new studies
yeah.
that kind of go out about things here and there of all types. So
Well,
let's.
even like when allergies, the allergies, we didn't
Mhm.
have to worry about any of that back then. We just gave you food that we
Yeah.
ate, and of course, if you had a reaction, yes, you went to the doctor. But it wasn't. I think it was the only thing we had to wait on was the peanuts, but
Mhm.
that's egg was not one of them.
Yeah.
That which was kind of weird for me when you were telling me that oh, we have to wait till she's this month, and I'm like, oh well, okay, I
Yeah.
guess I did you wrong, but you're fine.
Well, and it's not even like you did me wrong. It's just what it was at the time.
Yeah,
They didn't have as many studies and things in the
right, right.
90s as they do now. And I feel like I don't know what it is that has I feel like you hear about so many kids that have egg allergies, and it's like Haley being one of them,
And hers is
that
mild. It's not even. It's not
yeah.
even.
But
To the point
even
where it could kill her.
right.
Hopefully, it won't.
Hopefully,
So
yeah.
we're out of it.
And it's always too like allergies change so much, cannot change. I mean, my sister, for example, went her entire 21 years of life being fine, and then out of nowhere, she can't eat any kind of nut without almost dying. So it's
Right,
insane
and
how
possibly
fast that can
peaches
change.
now too. I found out.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
it's
that's
just
kind of weird.
everywhere.
Also,
So I mean, besides that, what's like one of the big things I guess you've noticed since you have Haley every day when I go to
right.
work? So what's some of the big things that you've noticed is vastly different from me growing me, raising me in the
Well, I grew you
90s.
too, but
Yeah. Yeah, raising me in the 90s and versus raising
just more
Haley now.
containment. A
Yeah.
lot more containment nowadays than when it used to be, and you didn't have to worry about covering anything up with the like the plugs. You didn't have to cover them up. I mean, you did, but you weren't walking around with a fork in your hand either, trying to shove it in there. But it was. At her age, you had the run of the house because you knew what you could touch and you couldn't touch. Yeah, she's not like that. She
No.
doesn't have the run of the house because she just wants to touch
Yeah.
everything.
And I guess that's different from kid to kid too, no matter what. Some
And the
kids are
sign
just not as
language,
curious.
right. But and then the sign language is something brand new too.
Mm.
We never had that. We never taught you guys that growing up.
Oh, okay.
Never.
That's
I
actually
mean,
interesting.
not that I ever knew of. I personally didn't, and I don't think any of my friends ever did. So that
No.
was kind of, it's very new, but it's very cool at the same time.
Yeah. And do you
You
find it's
know,
like helpful?
yes,
Okay.
yes, because Haley can't really articulate a whole lot
Yeah.
yet.
And I mean, we're learning it as she's saying it because it's like, for example, with like milk and book sound
Yes,
exactly the same. She says
right,
it with G's instead of M or B. So it's gook for both.
right.
But if she does the sign for
The
milk,
sign, right,
then
right.
you know that she wants milk. So I feel like it definitely does help
Oh,
with some
absolutely.
things for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree that it definitely does help. I think that just her knowing just those simple things, the more, the more and the
Mhm.
please. I wish she knew thank you.
I know I've been trying. I've been trying. It's that, but she tries to say it at least. But
Yeah, she definitely does. And
yeah.
it's I'm listening to she's more articulate as she goes and she's starting to say things more.
Hmm.
Um I mean, just trying to think back to when you were coming up, it was different, but not different. I mean, we're still trying
Yeah.
to teach them the same core values.
Right.
So it was, I guess it was just a matter of, you ran around the house with just a diaper on. Nowadays, it's like, oh my God, they have to be dressed. You have to
Oh,
cover
yeah.
everything. Or it's pornography. And I mean, I get it to an extent, but
I mean, you're not posting them places, who cares?
right,
I just
right. I
had
mean, that
Haley
you,
the other day running around in a diaper, and Eric was like, "Are you gonna put clothes on her?" I'm like, "Why? She's just in the house. It's hot.
right,
I'm not gonna put clothes on her if she's hot.
right.
She's
And I
running
get,
around the
right.
house."
And
So,
I feel the same way. And it's just,
yeah.
she has no fear.
No.
And you didn't have any fear either when you were coming up. You basically just ran straight into a wall and you were fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I think at this age, all kids don't, I don't think many kids have fear at this stage because
Yeah.
they want to try things new. They want to do different things. Um, when you were coming up, we just kind of put you in the pool, for example. We just kind of put you in there and said, okay, see if you can swim. And now we have those, not really, but we have those, what are those mambo
Yeah, the
boat
floats.
things?
Oh, there's
The
so many
floats. I
different
mean,
kinds of
it's like
floats.
everything's, it's crazy how things have adapted and how things have gotten better safety wise,
Mhm.
but I also feel like it hinders the learning experience as well.
Sometimes. Yeah, I can see
It's
that
just,
for sure.
it's no, I'm not going to throw Haley in the pool. My God, I wouldn't do
No.
that. I would jump in with her, but I wouldn't do that. But
Yeah.
it's
Well, even
different.
like, even with Haley in the pool, I feel like we don't use the float that much. We're
No,
we're
you
just
don't.
in there with her because
Right.
she doesn't really like it. She likes the one that she's not strapped into, but the other one where she has to be strapped in, she doesn't seem to like as much. She kinda just wants to be
She doesn't want
free
to be
with you.
confound.
Yeah.
And that's
Um,
pretty much like how you were. You did not want to be confound. She just let you go, man. Go
yeah.
crazy.
She's definitely likes to be free if she can be. So then is there anything that you feel like has gotten better since the 90s other
Yeah.
than just like
And it's again, it's going to go back to the allergies thing. It's
yeah,
the whole
more
allergy
doctor safety
testing. It's
stuff.
paying attention to what your kid eats and knowing that, okay, this might not be the best thing at this stage in the game, but
Yeah,
the doctor's saying, hey, now it's time you want to start. Give it to them early so their bodies can adjust to it and they can catch up the immunity for it,
right.
which I agree with. The other, I think that that is my biggest takeaway from it. My biggest change, which is the better change, is
Mhm.
the allergies, being able to deter and have them tested. If you see just a tiny little thing so that you know
Yeah,
ahead of time what, okay, this one can't have this, she can't have that.
yeah,
We didn't really have a
have the
whole lot of
testing. Yes.
that kind of testing
Oh,
when you were coming up. I
yeah.
mean, for certain things, yeah, of course, for certain things, but not to the extent that they are now.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised when Haley, when we had that reaction with her, that they were like, okay, obviously we had a meeting with the allergist, but when I went, she was like, what do you want? Do you want to just test her for everything? And I was like, I mean, if we can, that'd be
Right.
great because my sister has all these allergies and my husband has no dog allergies. And they're like, okay, we'll just run the full panel. And I was kind of surprised. Honest, even in this day, I kind of just figured they would only test her for what she had a reaction to.
Back in the day,
Um,
yes, that was very true.
yeah.
They
So,
wouldn't give you that panel of testing.
well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a great change in my eyes then too.
Yeah,
We can do that because now if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have known that she's also allergic to sesame and hazelnut and almond and cashew. We wouldn't have known unless we tried it.
and
But
she had a
then
reaction.
right, but those things too, I feel like are so hard to narrow down because when am I just gonna give her an almond? I'm not. So if it's in something, then you have to kind of narrow down, like, what was it in this cookie that gave her the reaction? Was it this? Was it that? Was it this? So it does
Exactly.
help if you can break it down like that, for
It
sure.
does. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And but at the same time, and being the devil's advocate, it kind of hinders the body to allow themselves to
Allow
work
it.
up to it and
Absolutely.
build up the immunity for it because
Yeah.
everybody's terrified to give their child that. And I get it. Nobody
Mhm.
wants to have to go taking their child through the hospital because they're anaphylactic shock.
Yeah.
And I get that. Um,
And we have the EpiPen now too because of
right.
the allergies, which saves me from, worrying too much, but I know too, at least with our doctor's office, and I know all offices are different. But ours is like, okay, well, we just did the egg challenge, so next we can do whatever nut challenge. If you want to do it, try to eliminate them. We can just do the challenges, which is nice because then it kind of gives the parents a little bit of safety knowing that it's
Hmm.
in a controlled environment, and if they do have a severe reaction, there's
Right.
people there who aren't going to panic.
As a parent, you would panic. I know I have
Yeah.
on many occasions with you. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, that's natural for a parent to panic in any
Yeah.
aspect, even a
So,
grandparent.
yeah, so I'm glad that it's a good thing for sure, but I
Right.
understand that too, worrying about getting things into their system and immunity and things like that.
Right.
Are there any trinkets that you found now that you wish you would have had when I was younger?
Oh man. Oh man. That, when the bouncy seat that she had when she was an infant. Okay.
Yeah.
We had something similar to that, but it wasn't as advanced. I mean,
Didn't it hang
basically,
in the doorway?
well, no, no. It was the one that sat on the table, but
Okay.
when it bounced, it moved. So,
Oh.
yeah, you bounce, you move, and you got to keep an eye on that. But it was
Yeah.
also, I mean, it wasn't exactly an easy bounce. It was like a bounce. You know, you got bounced
A little bit of
basically a
whiplash.
lot. Yeah, that was a big thing for me. Um, I think just the mobiles that you can lay on the floor instead of having them hanging over the crib all the time,
Mm.
just laying them on the floor and let them have something to stimulate their vision and their movement.
Mhm.
That's a big thing. I love that. The
Like
sleep
the
sacks.
musical mats.
Oh my God, the sleep sacks were like the bomb. I love those things. I mean, at first when you told me that, I'm like, really? Why do you need this?
Yeah.
But my God, it makes her sleep. It helps her
Yeah.
sleep
Well,
comfortably.
because if you think about it, I mean, even when I'm hot, I like to have a blanket. Even if it's a light blanket, I
Right.
like to have the comfort of having something over top of me, even if it's just a sheet that I can barely feel because I'm hot. So I feel like in that sense, the sleep sacks help because they're covered, even if because we have the
But they still
really,
have
really
movement.
light one. Yeah, but they have a lot of movement because they're so loose in the feet,
Right.
and you don't have to worry about them suffocating themselves
Right.
because
I
they're
mean, there was a
stuck
lot
on
of
a
rules with
blanket.
you guys. When you were coming up, it was don't lay the baby on their stomach, don't lay the baby on their back. Make sure you put a wedge in their back or their front so they're sleeping
Yeah.
on their side.
And now
It was a
they don't want you to use the wedges.
no.
Yeah,
So that's a lot has changed. And the
yeah.
bumpers. We used to have bumpers around the crib
Oh,
so that when you
yeah.
roll over, you didn't bash your head. They don't want you to do that anymore.
Oh, because they could
You know,
suffocate into them.
exactly. Now you just get bruises on your head. It's okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
And I mean, they're little things, but there's still things that we did that nobody's doing now. You can't you I don't say you
You
can't do it, but
can,
you
but
don't want to do it
no, right, yeah.
because the statistics say that, it could kill them.
There's just been so many, like, with SIDS has
Oh yeah.
gotten so high, and it's so different in every country too with if you talk to anybody in Europe, they're like, "What do you mean you don't co-sleep? That's all we do here. That's what we're supposed to do here." Like, their
Oh
doctors
no.
say to do it. But
No.
they do it very differently, and that's the thing too, is that co-sleeping doesn't necessarily mean putting the baby in the bed with you. It just sometimes it can mean having the bassinet that connects to the bed and the baby's still in their own space, but you're right next to them. Co-sleeping can mean just in the same room. So there's different ways
Gotcha.
that
Okay.
co-sleeping can mean, but like in Europe, that's all they do. They have the baby right in either in the bed with you or in the bassinet that's connected to the bed, so they're still in their own space, but they're in your space at the same time. But they teach it very differently. So they kind of teach you how to practice safe co-sleeping, and that makes a big difference. Whereas over here, they're like, just don't do it. And they don't even
It's
give you
hard to
any
right, but
kind
it's
of
a hard
tips on
habit
how
to
to
break
make it.
also.
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, you have your kid in bed with you every night or even right next to your bed
Yeah.
every night.
It can
And
make it
then,
hard.
it's going to take a lot to get them out of that. So now you have to gradually get them in their own room. That
Yeah.
could take weeks,
It
months
can. Yeah.
before
But I
they're ready
mean,
to do
I
that.
know plenty of people who they couldn't sleep otherwise because the kid wouldn't sleep without being in the bed with them, and
Well,
it
and
just
that's what I mean.
it
It's a
is
code thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it is what it works if it works for you and
Like,
that's
that's
how it
great.
works for you, then that's great, and I'm glad that it's working, and, the thing at the end of the day is mom needs to sleep too, and mom and dad both have to sleep, and if that's
Yep.
what works for your family,
And I get it.
then that's what
Hey,
works,
I mean,
and
there are many nights where you would not sleep, and I would just be pulling my hair out. And for a while, you and I were in the same room together, so
Mhm.
it had nothing to do with whether you were close to me or not. You just
Yeah,
didn't
it was
sleep.
just didn't sleep, yeah.
You just had your moments, as all kids do. Um, I think the when you would get sick or you weren't feeling good, anytime you had a fever, especially when you were teething, yes, I slept right next to you
Yeah. Comfort.
because that nervous thing, that
Yeah.
nervous mom thing. It's like, okay, I gotta make up and
Make
look. I'm not
sure.
gonna. I already know I'm not gonna sleep. I need to
Right.
look at you, make sure you're breathing. I need to put my hand on your forehead, make sure your fever's not up. I mean,
Yeah.
when I had Haley and she was sick, I was in there constantly looking at her, going, okay, and on the monitor and just looking and looking, and I'm like, okay, I just got to make sure that the night that she spent here, that you guys were at the wedding, and
Yeah.
I did sleep that night. I was constantly up looking at the monitor. It's
Yeah.
some of those things don't change.
Yeah. It took a I mean, it takes a while to get used to it too, and so the monitors are one thing too. You guys that's a new thing for
Oh
you, with
yeah,
the
yeah,
video monitors. Do you like
yeah.
that, or does it make do you think that you like that, or does it make you more anxious versus having just the voice monitor before?
At first, it made me a little anxious because I
Mhm.
found myself watching it constantly with
Yeah.
Haley. Um, but no, I love it. I love the fact that I could see her. I don't have to hear her, but I can
Mhm.
see her. I can see that she's moving. I can see that she's moved around.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, back in the day, if you had a monitor, you could hear them moving. That was great, but you could only also go so far with those monitors.
Yeah,
You had to be plugged in constantly.
that's true.
So, and you're always walking in the room just to put an eye on your kid to make sure
Right.
things. I hear you, but I can't see you, so let me put an eye on you.
Right.
And at times that would wake you up
Right.
from a sleep,
So
but
but it to help with your brain, you gotta do it.
yeah, but to make sure that you can survive the day or at least the nap time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would the monitors that you have now they're awesome. And they're only
Yeah.
going to get better. Like the ones you guys have with the nut
At
breathing
home.
app, and yeah,
Yeah.
that those I think are phenomenal, especially for overnight.
Yeah. And so I love ours. I've talked about it on a previous episode. We have the MICU, and I really love that one because it is Wi-Fi, and a lot of people get sketched out about the Wi-Fi, and I totally understand that. But the MICUs have an encrypted chip so that people cannot hack into it,
Okay.
which is why I was comfortable still getting it, even though it does have the Wi-Fi connection. But it's nice because once you are connected to it, I have to log you into it. It's this whole process to even
Right.
get into it. Even if you're on the Wi-Fi, you can't just get into it. I can check it from work. So when Eric's parents have her, I can check in on her just for my own being like, I just want to see her. Um, but if I step outside, I can cut off the Wi-Fi and I still have access to her if I have to go into the backyard for something, like if Eric and I
Right.
will have a fire and she's sleeping, I can keep an eye on her still. So it's nice having that. And we still have the breathing for subscription.
Yeah.
We don't really need it anymore, but I feel like if I lose it, it's gonna make me anxious.
I can
But
see that.
but it's also like I know she's fine. I don't wake up and check on her overnight because I know she's fine. But I feel like
Well,
if
you
it's
have an
not
alarm, right?
there, I'm going to be thinking
Well, I
about
get
it.
no, I get it, but there's an alarm on yours also, right?
But only because I have the subscription for the
Oh,
Breathe. If
gotcha.
I
Okay.
decide to cancel the subscription, I can still have obviously still have use to the monitor, but it won't track her breathing anymore. So which would
Gotcha.
would cut off the alarm
I don't
also.
know if I'm ready to cut that off.
I know, that's like I know she's fine now. We're past the stage where she really needs it, but I also feel like I'm so used to having it
Yeah.
that until I move it away from being where it's positioned in her room, like right now it's positioned over her crib still,
Mm-hmm.
but and then but if we ever move it into like a corner where we can see the whole thing when she moves, for example, into a big girl bed, we're
Right.
obviously not going to have it there anymore. We'll have it in a corner. Then we'll cut it off because it won't work anyway. The breathing only works if
Oh,
it's hovering over top of the kid.
gotcha.
So I feel like maybe that
Maybe
we'll
then.
see,
We'll
we'll
see.
see. Just, paying for it for forever. It helps my peace of mind, so I don't really care.
You know what? And
Um,
it's worth it to have that peace of mind,
yeah,
especially when you're a mom of a toddler.
yeah, that is true. Yeah. Okay, well, we talked about things getting better.
Mhm.
What about things getting worse? Anything you feel like has gotten worse since the 90s that you
We're gonna
think
go right back to the allergies again.
yeah, okay.
Just the don'ts. The don't do this, the don't do
Don't do
that,
that.
the let's test everything instead of letting it, and I get it, don't get me wrong. Um, we gave you everything.
Right,
We gave you peanut butter, we gave you fish, we gave you eggs. If you had a reaction, we didn't give it to you anymore, talk to
right.
the doctor, so on. Um, but I think knowing ahead of time instead of allowing that person, that especially with nuts,
Mhm.
I feel it's a good thing to know ahead of time, but at the same time, I feel
It
like
makes you anxious.
they're not allowed to find out if they really are allergic, or if
Or if
it's
it's
just
just
something that's
sensitivity.
just an issue. Not an
Right.
issue, but
Yeah.
something that could just be like, we're not really concerned. She's not having any signs.
Right.
For example, I have two allergies that I never even knew that I had, and I don't have reactions to them. And one of
Right.
them is to shellfish. I
Oh,
don't have reactions to
that's
shellfish,
interesting.
but I would have never known it had I not been tested.
Yeah. And that's the thing we think with too, with like all Haley's nuts allergies. Even the doctor said, she's like, most likely these are just sensitivities. But
Right,
because she's so young and we can't hear from her telling us my throat itches,
right,
it's just not a great idea to give them to her until we can have like better idea of how it's actually affecting her.
and
Because
that
like
makes sense.
if she, yeah, obviously if she can't breathe, we're gonna know. But if it's just something that's like making her throat really itchy, chances are we're not gonna know
Right,
until it's too late and maybe her throat closes up because it's swelling or something, so it's
right.
not so it makes sense, but it also I get where you're coming from in that aspect too of like
You're not giving the body
not
any time
giving
to
any
build its own
chance.
immunity
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense. And I know like with sleeping and stuff, putting kids to sleep, you guys have talked about, the cried out versus
Oh
the
yeah.
letting her go let it I kinda go back and forth on that one, on how I
Depends
do
on
it
the
with
cry.
Haley, and yeah, because I just know her cries, but I just
Right.
remember a lot at the beginning when I had her over there a lot trying to get her used to, like, your guys' space, and grandma would be like, "Just leave her in there," and I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna leave her in there. I'm gonna go get her because I know that she's not happy." Like
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm not going to say when you guys were young like that we just let you scream it
Oh,
out. We
no, of
didn't,
course.
but we did let you fuss it out for a while. When it got to
Yeah,
that holler scream, that you're just like, okay, no, it's time to get her. We got you. We didn't just leave you
right.
in there to scream
Right.
yourself to sleep, or to make you lose your voice. I know it sounds harsh, but yeah, I mean, it worked. If the
Mhm.
child knows that every time it makes a squeak, somebody's going to pick her up, you're going to have an elbow baby
Mhm.
constantly. And if you let them understand that this is it, you have to go night night, it's time for you to sleep,
Mhm.
and they can learn how to self-soothe and be like, okay, cool, I need this nap, I'm going to take it. That's kind of where it came from.
Yeah, which totally makes sense. I think,
Even then, parents were just picking them up. They didn't want to, oh, I can't handle the fact that my child is crying. And
yeah,
then look
and
at those.
sometimes it works better for them too, I don't whatever again, I'm that kind of person that's like, if that works for you, then I'm
Right,
happy that it works for
right.
you, and I have 0 judgment for however anybody wants to handle that. I know for me, it works really well for, like, stay-at-home moms who don't have to leave their kids with somebody else,
Does it?
to do that, to go in and kind of allow I don't even wanna say allow, I wanna trying to think of, like, how to word it the way I'm
That the
processing it in
child
my
doesn't have
brain.
to cry to
Right,
comfort that child
to
24/7.
yeah, and if that's and it's so hard as a mom too, I want to go in there and pick her up every time she cries. I hate walking
Mm-hmm.
out of the room if she's fussing, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I have to
That's
because
moms of
this
all
is
generations.
exactly,
Yeah.
and honestly, like, I envy the moms that are able that just can do that freely and not have to worry about if this is gonna affect the person who has to care for the child during the day or anything like that. Um, 'Cause I had to kinda start doing that at a really early so that I could get her prepared to be with you guys all day, with
Right.
you and with Eric's parents, because you are not in the position where you can specifically tend to the baby literally 24/7. Like, you have to be able to put the baby down so you can take care of the dogs or take care of grandma or get some work done. So it's like I had to
Mhm.
I had to make sure that she was able to adapt to that kind of environment as hard as it was for me. I hated every time I took she had a nap and I would have to put her down. I'm like, I just want that contact nap so bad. But I'm
Right.
also like, that's not what's gonna work for us in the long run.
But look at how
Uh,
she is now. She's also Little
yeah,
Miss Independent, which is
she's
exactly how
very
you
yeah,
were.
she's
You were the
very
same way. But
independent.
again, I didn't pick you up every time you cried.
Yeah.
If you fell, I waited a second to see if I
Oh,
heard
yeah.
that earth shattering scream. And if I didn't hear it, I'd be like, girl, shake it off. You're
Yeah.
fine. And we would do the shake, shake, shake dance. And I do that
Yep.
with Haley. I'm like, I do the shake, shake, shake dance with Haley.
Yeah.
And she just looks at me and laughs. But I don't just do that. I wait a
Oh,
second or
yeah.
two, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Is she going
Let's
to
see what her
scream, or is
reaction's
she's
gonna
just
be.
going to look at me with that look like, why did I fall?
And I feel like that's
But
really common, at least among the people that I'm the closest with and I see interactions with their children all the time. I feel like it's super common these
yeah,
days too to just, "Are you alright? You good? I'm not gonna react, and if you don't react, I'm not reacting," kind
right,
of
right.
thing. I feel like it's not it's pretty that's a pretty common thing most of the time that I see at
Well,
least.
yeah, I mean, with
Yeah.
a lot of people nowadays, yes.
Yeah.
And I've seen it on the other hand where it's like the second that child falls,
Yeah.
the mother or father is
I
hanging
feel
all
like
over me.
that
Oh my God, are
was
you okay? Are you okay?
I almost feel like that was like, that was a while I feel like I remember seeing a lot more of that years ago.
Yeah,
Not like years and years and years, but like when I was not nearly ready to have kids, but I would see more interactions with kids and like more of that a
yeah.
few years ago. And I feel like it's changed from that to just seeing a lot more of like, all right, well, you're okay. And I think that's also the generation that is now having those kids, my
Right, because that's how I
generation,
brought you
because that's
up.
how we were raised.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at
And
Sam, how she does it with
yeah,
Maddie. She goes, "Ha ha, you fell,"
yeah, exactly.
and
Like,
laughs. And to
yeah,
her, it's a game. Unless
yeah,
again, she's got that bloody murder scream, and then
yeah.
it's that she's really hurt. And it's with Haley. I mean, with the head, and she steps on books with her fingers in them, and I can hear her doing that whine, and I'm like, and I look at her for a second, and then
Are you
she'll just kind of
really
look at me like, I don't know what
yeah,
I did, and but if she falls, and she did, and I know you know this, she hit
yeah,
her head and she just let out a scream. And I'm like, oh my God,
yeah,
the walls are now coming down. But I knew she was hurt.
yeah,
So
exactly.
there's that huge
Yeah,
difference. So of course, you don't run to them, but you just approach them.
yeah,
That's what I felt I needed to do. But
yeah. I feel like we do the same thing with her,
yeah,
depending on what it is. I mean, obviously, if it's something that I know is not good and I can see it, I'm rushing over as fast as I can. But it's obviously so dependent on the situation. If it's just
right.
something that maybe scared them a little bit more than it actually hurt, like yeah, it's different on every occasion for sure.
It's like with grandma. I hear something fall in the living room, and my mind immediately goes to, oh my God, mom fell.
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Are you okay?" It's being a parent to a parent and being a parent to a child and a parent to a grandchild is I got three. I'm working three generations. I'm working
yeah,
with three generations here, but it's nothing different than what you would do with anybody, except
yeah.
for grandma can verbally communicate where Haley cannot.
Right. She tries, but who knows what she's saying.
I'm afraid to find out, girl.
I know.
I don't even want to know what words are coming out of that
Yeah,
child's mouth
I know.
sometimes. Especially when she gets the do,
I'm like,
I don't know what's
okay,
being said,
I
but
don't know what made you mad, but I don't think I want to find out.
another thing coming up, when I was bringing you up, I never kept from you the things that I did
I
coming up
remember that
at
for
like
sure.
your age and stuff. It's like you're at the age of 16 and oh, I didn't do any of that wrong. This is no, Brooke, this is what I did at your age. I regret
Yeah.
it, but this is what I did.
And I
And
appreciated that
I
a lot
never held that
too.
away from you because I have found from my generation bringing up your generation, that the parents who hid who they were coming up is facing the problems of
So
their
it's like
kids
the
already
cycle.
doing it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, how do I get them out of it?
Mhm. No,
Well,
I
telling them that you
appreciated
never did
that.
it isn't right.
Yeah, I appreciated that a lot growing up, and I feel like you never tried to necessarily deter me from trying things my own way,
Right.
but you allowed me to figure it out, but you also gave me a heads up, like, just to know this is how it worked for me. So it's not probably not the best idea, but you're gonna figure it out for yourself. And it made me like, okay, well, maybe I really don't want to do that then.
Right. I
Like,
mean, you always have to have your own opinion about what you're going to do with your life and how you're going to go towards the move towards things and do things. And if you don't have somebody saying, hey, I did that. It
hmm
wasn't great, but
yeah.
I can't stop you. Brooke, when you were 13 years old, and it's going to come from Haley, I can tell you now, I can see it happening. When you were 13, you sat down and you looked at me and you said, Mom, if you can't hear me, can I cuss?
I think
What?
I remember that.
I said, what? Yeah, if you can't hear me, is it okay if I cuss? Well, why would you ask me that question? Do you already? And you says, well, no, but I hear people do it. I said, well,
Yeah.
I remember it very vividly because I said, I would prefer you not to, of course, but you're going to do whatever you're going to do. But
And
my
my
opinion
version
is, I would prefer you not to.
my
There you
version of
go.
cuss was like crap. Like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I remember you saying that I was allowed to cuss if it was in a song and it was
Because it
the
was part of the
lyrics to a
song.
song, but that was it. And then it was
Mhm.
like going to the Toby Keith concert when I was like
Yeah.
8 years old
Yep.
and singing a boot in your ass
Yep.
and like everybody thinking it was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
You and Austin. Yes.
but I
Together.
would never
Yes.
say it
Yes.
outside of singing a song. I was just like,
Right.
I'm allowed to say it in the song, so I'm just gonna be happy that I can do that.
I mean, but not all. Every parent to me is different. Some parents are going
Absolutely.
to, they're going to keep their childhood out of the limelight
Right.
because I don't want them to do what I did.
Yeah.
Well, but
And sometimes
the
that
way
works too.
right.
It
Sometimes.
can work. It can either way, it can work or it can backfire, right? So
Oh, yeah. Either
whatever
way.
I
You're right.
think it's gonna be whatever you
You
find
instill.
is working the best. Like if you have to sprinkle a little bit of both in and find out what the best way is for your family, that's what's gonna work. That's what's so crazy is just I think that was the hardest thing for me being pregnant and like people trying to give me advice. It's like, but don't give me the advice like this is the only thing that's gonna work, right? Because that might not work for
Right.
me.
Right.
The way I like to approach when if people ask me for advice, I try very hard not to give my opinions to people who are pregnant or starting to raise kids or thinking about kids or anything in general. Like I try not to give my opinion unless I'm asked for it, and then when I
Right.
do, I give it and like this is how what worked for me.
Right. And I've heard you do that.
Maybe try it out and maybe you'll find that part of that works for you and part of it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, and you
Right.
can kind of tweak it your own way, or maybe it doesn't work for you at all, and maybe it's just something that you tried. And I feel like it's best to try many different things and then find what works from each part of it. Like I do the same thing at my office job. Like when I was being trained, I took bits and pieces of information from every person who trained me and I made my own way of doing it.
I got yeah for a second.
And I think that that is the same with, parenting, with having a dog, with buying a house, with
Oh, yeah,
anything,
I agree. Yeah,
and
I agree.
it's definitely like I like getting.
You have to find your own niche,
Yeah,
basically.
and I like hearing how things went for, like, you guys in the '90s versus us now because so many things have changed and so many things have also stayed the same or just have developed a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
but also maybe went backwards a little bit here and there. So, yeah, I think it's just whatever is gonna be work the best for you, you just have to find it, and it can be overwhelming when you're getting a lot of things thrown at you, like,
Right.
"Well, this is how you should do it." No, maybe, like,
No.
maybe approach it like, "This is how I did it, and it worked great for me." Like,
Exactly. There
maybe
you go.
try it this way, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but
And you
this
know
is
me, I was always one, don't tell me what you think I should do. Don't tell me what I
yeah.
should do. I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah, and almost
That was always the way it
hearing
was.
someone say, "This is the way to do it," it makes me
Yeah.
not wanna
No.
try it because I'm like,
Right. It doesn't work
"But
for everybody. Not
maybe."
everything works for everybody. I mean, the way
Yeah.
that you and I have that relationship where we can talk to each other about anything, and that was the way that I wanted it to be when you were coming
Mhm.
up. I always said that, I want to be close to my kids. I don't want them to feel like they have to hide
Hide
anything from
things.
me. I want them to be able to come to me and say, hey, with the tough things,
Yeah.
which you did at the age of 16. Um, but those kind of things, I don't want, you know, if when you were younger and you never did this, but if you ever went out, I mean, I remember the first time you drank, you told me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay. And did you get drunk? And how did you feel? And
Yeah.
I didn't make you feel bad about it.
Right.
I just wanted you to be alert about your
Yeah.
surroundings, you
Yeah.
know?
It just depends. It's
And
very important how you, handle talk n it's important to know how your kid is so that you
right.
know how to
That's what I
approach the
meant. Yeah.
conversation exactly, yeah, and it's just you knew how I was, so you knew how to approach that conversation with me, and every kid's different. Some kids you have to be more disciplining with and more, like, not
Right. No,
aggressive, but that's the best way I can think to say
no,
it at
you're
this
right.
time,
You're right. But you
but
remember,
it's great
I
to
did you
have
on my
once you
own.
find it.
Right. And Dad and I weren't together,
Right.
when you were coming up. I had grandmom and granddad helping me, because I worked and they watched you, or you went to school and they got you off the bus. But you and Eric have to make those decisions together.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
have to say to anybody, "Hey, I'm going to let them know what I did as a kid because I
No.
don't want her to grow up thinking that mom was perfect and didn't do anything. I didn't want to be boring and I didn't want to be perfect. I just wanted to
Yeah.
be the person that I am,
Yeah, exactly.
real."
But it was always nice being able to come to you with questions, knowing that you're gonna tell me how it worked for you, and I could take that into account on how I went through because I loved my childhood. So I was like, well, let me find out how did this
Mhm.
work? What did you do? And sometimes and even now, if I have a question with like how with like Haley's rash the other day, I was like, what on earth? And you were
Yeah.
like, mm, it's up to you, but I would probably take her to the doctor just 'cause I don't like the way it looks, but
Yeah. And I did. And it
talk
was
to
not.
Eric about it,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, well, I just needed to hear that because I wanted to hear
Right.
that I wasn't crazy for thinking I should probably take her to the doctor right now."
And I'm not going to put you into the wrong direction at all.
Right, yeah. And I
I'm
mean,
going to
at the
tell you
end
what
of the
my thought
day
process is, but I'm also going to say you got to talk to your husband,
exactly, yeah, and
because
that's
he's
great.
there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ask you those questions because you worked in peds for so long, and I'm like, "Should
Yeah.
know.
And
Should know if I should
dermatology,
take her."
it was weird with being in the dermatology field for so long and then seeing that I was like, "Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that it looked like you said, it kind of looked like a
It looks
chemical
like a
burn."
burn, yeah. So
Um,
and then it
but
ended
and
up
it,
going,
yeah,
like, away the next day. I was like, "Okay, at
I
least I
which is
took her."
good,
Yeah.
which is good,
Yeah.
but just because if you're ever, to my personal opinion, is if you're ever unsure of what your child is going through, if you see something that you are not happy with, a rash or a way that they're acting or something like that, listen to your gut.
Yeah.
Whatever your head and your gut are telling you, I mean, you got to listen to
Yeah.
yourself
Who
too,
cares
not
if
just
other
somebody else.
people think
Right.
you're overreacting? Nobody
That's
can
your
if
child.
that's your baby and you need to do what you think is best at the end of the
Yes.
day,
I mean,
and
I
that's
and I
what
agree with that
matters.
100%. But when you were 3 weeks old, you had to have a spinal tap
Yeah.
in 3 weeks.
Mhm.
And it freaked me out because I couldn't even be in the room with you. But you had thrush so badly in your mouth and in your throat that the doctor didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it was literally an overnight thing. And back then, when thrush was happening, which happened with a lot of kids, you had to put this purple stuff in your mouth so that everything died in your mouth. It wasn't fun. But I had to take you to the hospital, and they're like, "Yeah, we need to test her for this, this, and this." And meningitis was a big thing, and like My 3-week-old is having a spinal tap.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You ended up having a stomach virus at a very young age, which is okay. Haley did too,
Mhm.
but you didn't have to go to that extent.
Yeah.
So the way that they treat things now is so much better than the way that they treated things then, because I don't think that anything that you went through, whoa, hi. I
Hi.
don't think that anything that you went through back then you would go through now, it would be treated the same way. I don't
Yeah.
think that the way you were then, you would have been taken to the hospital and had a spinal tap done at the age of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Other tests, sure, blood work, whatever. But I think the doctoring, that's another thing I think is different, is the doctoring and how different they are doing things now. Yes, they're still very cautious, and some might even say overcautious, but not to that extreme.
Yeah, it can yeah. I feel like again, it depends on the doctor, right? But at
Right.
least in my experience that we've had pretty good experiences with how they approach us and make us feel pretty good about I mean, we're with, Johns Hopkins is such a great place and um they're top rated for a reason. So it's nice
Right.
having doctors who just they make you feel so comfortable. And I think that's a big thing. And I hope that all parents can find a doctor, no matter where it is, if it's a small family doctor, if it's a big corporation like that,
Hmm.
finding the right pediatrician just really makes such a difference. And
And that's something different too that
yeah,
we shared. When back then a doctor was a doctor was a doctor. I mean, yeah, you had pediatricians, they specialized, but I could have taken you to a regular GP when I was growing up. My
right.
doctor, my entire life, was the doctor that brought me into the world.
That's so
So
great.
there's that, Dr.
I
Harry Nick,
remember my
you know,
pediatrician telling me, "Honey, you're too old to come here. You have to find a new
yeah,
doctor." And I'm like,
Dr. Beck. Yeah.
"I
She's like,
don't
yeah, you
want
gotta go
to stop
somewhere else
seeing
now.
you." Like,
Oh, and now they're pushing you out. The pediatrician's like, nope, you got to go. You got to go
yeah,
to an adult, like as they say, pediatricians like to say doctors are real doctors.
yeah,
Pediatricians are
they
doctors.
are
They
real
just don't
doctors.
do the
They're,
adult things.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I just think that when you were coming up, the bedside manner,
Best.
not really there.
Yeah,
Not really there. You couldn't go into a doctor's office when I had you and be like, okay, I'm really worried. Did you know what you would get? You need to not worry so much.
right.
And you
And they
need to
get that
just
now
let her
too
grow up,
sometimes. I
but
feel
not
like
in a sassy way.
not as much, but they're definitely like I feel like generally it's the older doctors that
Yeah.
are still, you know,
Yeah, I agree.
they're reacting that way like just don't worry. Oh, okay, okay, well, can you give me a reason not to worry? You're
Okay,
the doctor.
that's
That's
the
why I came here. Like, I need you to tell me why I shouldn't be worrying. Don't tell me just not to worry because now you're making me worry more.
I'm right. And like you said, it's the older doctors,
Yeah,
because the older doctors,
like
that's
that.
how we grew up. We were like, just deal with it. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. And it's not going to matter and blah, 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 blah. And
yeah,
now you guys want an answer,
right. And even
and
if
you
you can't
should
give
have an
me an
answer.
exact answer, I needed a general idea. Like,
Right.
no time that I've taken Haley to the doctor because she's been sick have I gotten, this is exactly what she has, but I've been at least given, okay, she
And
has
I, yeah,
some kind of viral
right.
thing and just focus on, like, you need to tell me what to focus on. So if you're saying focus on the rash on her belly and make sure that it doesn't spread. Okay, cool. Now I know what to focus on. Or focus on make sure that her cough doesn't sound this way. If it starts
Right.
sounding that way, then you need to come back and see us. Then that's like what helps me as a parent to know what I need to focus on so that my brain's
Mm.
not trying to focus on every single thing and thinking that all of it's a problem. So
And I
I
agree
think
with
that
that.
helps a lot too.
But also, again, going back to when you were younger and I was taking you to your pediatricians, we didn't, it was just, oh, she's fine. She'll get through it.
Right.
We weren't told, what we were told? Just keep an eye on her fever.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
not it's just not what it is these times.
oh, and
So
that's
many
all we needed to
things.
hear was,
Yeah,
fever. Oh, let's give her some Tylenol. Let's give her some Motrin. Let's give her something. I
right.
think it was Advil. I don't even know. Yeah, the medications are also different from when they were back then.
Yeah,
I'm not talking like, I feel like I'm talking about the 90s being in the Stone Ages, but
it feels like it.
it kind of does.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, and it's different even to with my doctor, my personal doctor today is different. Grandmom's, her doctor,
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah.
Because look at the 4 generations that we're talking about.
Right.
I mean, 4 totally the way that grandma was brought up is not the way you were brought up,
Oh, yeah.
and it's not the way you're bringing Haley up,
It's so funny to hear things like when I
right?
talked to grandma about it and she's like, "Oh man, that is just not how we did it." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you raised kids in the 50s and the 60s. I would hope that it's a
Mhm.
little different now."
But it's a lot different. It really
Yeah,
is. Even the 90s is so much different
it
than what it is
is. I
now.
mean, it was
Just
30
just
years
certain
ago.
things.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's so many things change. Well, so what is your favorite part about being a grandma? Aside
Oh,
from aside from just being able to give the kid back, what
um,
is your favorite
you want
part?
to know honest? I get to see you and Eric and the baby together
Yeah.
more. I get to see you more. I get to see you pretty much every single day,
Yeah. I feel like we
except for the
always
weekends
did,
or
but in general, it's, like, gotten more frequent for sure.
right. It's just I don't know, I love just watching her grow. Just watching her personality come to fruition, which I'm not even sure how it's gonna be. But
Well, and it's like you get used to how, like, "Oh, today I really saw you come out of her," or, "Oh, I really saw
oh
Eric come out of her."
yeah.
So I feel like you
I'll
really
never get
enjoy
used to
that.
that. Yep, I'll never get used to that. I mean, that child has her great days and then she has her days of I just am not gonna be a fan of Gigi's today.
Yeah.
I get it. But you were the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
all kids are, I guess, um, as because she's my granddaughter, it's just I think my favorite thing is seeing how much of you I see in her
Yeah.
and go, oh my God, that was Brooke that just walked around the corner. Or, oh my God, that was your mother when she was your age. Or, you know, let me tell you, you were 18 months old. And this reminds Haley reminded me of you. You're 18 months old. We had a snake crawling up the basement floor and you
Oh,
wanted to play
yeah.
with it. That's all you want to do. I want to play. I want to play. I want to play. I'm like, no. And then Haley finds anything she's not supposed to have. And I want to play. I want to
Yeah.
play. Okay. Yeah. So that doesn't change. But the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
So I got to
She
tell you
likes
that.
everything.
I can't speak upon how much about Eric when he was growing up, but I see Eric in her
A
a
lot.
lot. The
Yeah.
certain looks
The
are just like,
looks, yeah.
oh, and the hairy eyeball from her cracks me up every time.
She's got a good one.
Yeah, she really does. Better than yours ever was. But
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
think my favorite part of being a grandma and watching her is just seeing how much of you I see come out in her.
Yeah.
And
That makes
it's
me
just
happy.
like, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. I see my daughter with her daughter, it's
Yeah.
like, and it's funny. I always say to Haley, I said, you are your mother's daughter. You are your grandmother's mother's daughter.
Yeah.
She just looks at me like
Huh? Okay.
I might have to explain that to her one day, but
Yeah.
no, I thoroughly enjoy it. I love watching her grow up. Thank you guys for allowing me to do that.
Oh, thank you for doing it. I mean, heck,
Um, is it easy all the time? No, it's
no.
not, but it's fulfilling and not
Yeah.
many grandparents
Get to do that.
get to do that. They don't have that opportunity to do it. Mom and dad, for example, they had the opportunity with you because they were retired
Right.
when you came along. Um, but there are grandparents who don't get to see their kids except for on the weekends or once a
Right.
month. And I get to see mine every day, one of mine.
Yeah.
My other two, I don't get to see. I haven't even met one of them, but the other one in North Carolina, I've seen him twice. We
Yeah.
FaceTime and it's hard. And I think if I didn't have Haley,
It
it'd
would be
be
harder.
harder.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, she makes me laugh. She brings so much joy into this house and into her great grandmother. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's definitely a
m-
big plus for
your
sure.
grandmother, who's my mother, she just smiles from ear to ear, and she
Yeah.
just loves to see that little girl come in the
Yeah.
house.
Makes
She's
it
just
so happy.
yeah, it does.
All right, well, let's do our quick little product review. We've talked a little bit about it as sleep sacks.
Hmm.
Big thing. Love, I, I don't even remember. We have so many different sleep sacks now.
Well, I
And so,
remember when
but
you started that, I was like,
yeah,
"What are you doing?"
I think it's
Well,
the Sky Baby. Is that,
I think so.
I think that's what they're,
I
why is
just
my
remember you
brain
coming in the
shooting right
house and
now?
saying, "We put her in this to sleep." I'm like, "Why?
Yeah.
We didn't do that." You have to remember, we put blankets on you.
Yeah.
So, and then you said to me, "Well, this is so that they don't turn and they suffocate in the blanket.
Right.
I'm like,
Does it nice and
oh,
tight up
right,
around the chest. You know, the Halo Baby sleep sacks are great, when they're younger and they have to still be not have to be, but they still like to be swaddled a little bit.
right,
But then, yeah, the Sky, I think I don't know why just brain farting,
blanking.
but I'm pretty sure it's the Sky Baby. I'll have to look into it and link it, but, um, we just have every single one of those, and they're a little pricier, but you can get them in different thicknesses. So we have a
Yeah.
really, really light one for the summertime.
Yes.
She's got that at home because the room gets kind of warm at night. And then they go up to like super thick, almost like not weighted, but they do make weighted
Wintering.
ones, which I'm a little sketched out about the weighted ones, but um the thicker ones in general just to keep them a little warmer in the winter. So I mean, being they work so well.
And Haley's a hot girl anyway when she sleeps. So I know just in general she is, but I know putting her in that I can almost see her now, especially now that she's more animated. But I'll go, okay, let's go in for a nap, and we're gonna get a clean butt, and we're gonna put your sack on, and we're gonna go night night. And
Yeah.
I see her, and as soon as it's almost like when I put her arms in there and I zip her up, she's just like
She just gets
automatically.
so comfortable.
It's like that calm,
Yeah.
and she's like, and then she just looks at her crib like, okay,
Time to go.
give me my kiss and get the hell out, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
She likes to just be in there. She'll just flail out
That
your
would have been
arms.
amazing if we would have had that when you guys were young. I think it
Yeah.
would have been a game changer for sleep time with you guys.
Mhm.
And I like the fact that they start small, but and like you said, light. I have her in a light one now, and then I have two more that Morgan sent up for you. That are
Mhm.
one's a little heavier, and then one's even heavier.
Yeah. And
Just
then they
for
have like long sleeve ones
right,
too for like the regions that are like super, super cold.
right,
Yeah, they just make so many different versions of them, and there's so
mhm,
many different companies that do them. I really personally really like the Sky Baby. I feel like the quality is really nice. Halo is a really great one too. But I just think it gives me such peace of mind knowing that she's comfortable and she's warm, but she's not too hot, especially in the summertime.
right,
Um, but she just no matter what she does, however way she moves, she's gonna be covered, and
right.
at least her getting cold isn't gonna wake her up. Because I know that with me, like if I throw my blanket off in the middle of the night and I wake up, I'm cold, shivering, like, oh.
Yeah.
So it helps knowing that she's not gonna get cold, but she also isn't going to suffocate on a
Exactly.
blanket.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean,
So,
there was many times that I would walk into your room and when you were in your crib and you had your blanket all wrapped up around your face, I'm like, oh Lord.
Lord,
You don't think about
I'm
that though.
alive. I'm here.
I mean, I just moved away. I'm like, okay, you're still breathing. It wasn't even a thought in my head that
Yeah.
you would
And
ever
well,
suffocate
now,
with
like,
something like that.
so many things are like this age, my generation has been just given the gift of anxiety because
Yeah.
of, the internet and just
Yeah.
all the things that it's not that it wasn't there before, it's just that it's more accessible now. All the knowledge is more accessible to everybody now, and so it's like, "Oh, so this was happening before. It's just that we
Hmm.
didn't know about it before,
Right.
and now everybody knows about it, so now everybody's trying to do something about it," which is where all of these new things like the sleep sacks and the
Right.
video
Shoot, I'd like to have a
monitors
sleep
come.
sack for me, but I don't think they make
Honestly,
them big enough.
I know, I wish they did, I
Like, oh, I think the
and
comfort of that would just be
Snuggies.
like,
I mean,
yay.
they're Snuggies, right?
That's true. Oh yeah, that's true. But are they full body?
Yeah, yeah, you just don't get wrapped up in them. They don't zip shut.
Yeah, but I think also now that we're older, we move around a lot more. Well, I don't know, I mean, that child moves around a lot,
She moves around a lot more than
but
I do.
I don't. I think as adults, because our legs move more and we get more tangled up, I
Yeah,
think we would end up probably
probably
suffocating ourselves
suffocating.
on those things. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
well, thank you for doing this with me. This is really
I
fun.
did. I liked it. Thanks.
Then it was had a. This is good to get a perspective
Okay, we'll do that.
from 30 years ago and to now and
Yeah, you just
how
gave my
everything's
age away, you
going.
little brat.
My age away. Hello.
Yeah,
This is your
you're
age
funny
away
one.
just because it's been 30 years ago. Nobody knows how old you were when you had me.
True that. That's very true. That's very true. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you for thinking about me and doing this. And I'm sorry if
Well,
I kept
thank you for
cutting you
doing it
off,
with
but we do
me.
that to each other quite
Yeah.
often. We had
Oh,
fun.
no. That's how this works is we do it to everybody does it. We do it to each other all the time. It's the way I want it to be honest.
Awesome.
Well, in the meantime, we'll see you guys next week, but you guys can find me on Instagram at the best mom pod. You can email me your funny stories or your whatever, your oh shit moments, anything like that to thebestmompod@gmail.com. And we will talk to you next week. Not sure if it'll be Sam or somebody else. You'll just have to stay tuned. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.